In this video, I'm going to teach you how to set up files in After Effects. Now, let's open After Effects. I already have it open here. As you can see, I'm using Adobe After Effects 2021. You can use any other older versions as well. Let's click on this New Composition tab. And now we can change the settings for the new comps. First of all, we can rename it to Main Comp, which is a main composition that we will be animating in. And here you can choose some of the presets. There's a drop-down menu. Normally it would be default as 1920 by 1080, 16 by 9 ratio. It's going to be HD. And then square pixels, that's fine. Frame rate, you can change the frame rate here. There's 24 frames per second, 25, 30 frames per second. For us, let's use 25 frames per second. Our video is going to be around 15 to 20 seconds, but we can keep the duration to 30 seconds. Right now, you can see it's 30 seconds. That's good. That way, we have more timeline to work with. And then the background color can be any color. It's going to be black in default, and click on OK. Now you can see in this left-hand side project panel, we have a main composition set up. If you're not seeing the same thing as my panel here, you can go to Window and then Workspace, choose Standard Layout. And if you're still not seeing it, you can reset Standard to Saved Layout. It's going to put the standard layout to default. And you should be able to see the same layout as mine. Remember, we have a black color background, but right now there's nothing. It's not black, it's transparent. It's because we have this transparency grid turned on. Like if we turn off this transparency grid, you can see this black color. However, if you render, it is still transparent. You don't have a black color background. This is only for preview purposes, so it's shown you as a black color, but in reality, it's actually transparent if you toggle the switch here. Let's go back to the project panel on the left-hand side, and then we can double click to import. Let's just navigate to our folder here, Travelholics Animation, separated storyboard. Remember, we have the storyboard separated. And then let's import the first frame here. Click on this PSD file, and then over here, you can choose import as. So for us, it's very important to import as a composition, retain layer sizes. For footage, if you import as a footage, it's gonna make everything all meshed together as one layer. Remember, we had all the layers separated in Photoshop. If we import as a footage, it's gonna be just one layer. You won't be able to animate them individually. But then if you retain layer sizes, import as composition, it's gonna keep the layer size of each layer as well as maintaining the separated layers. So normally 95% of the time we would choose composition retain layer sizes. And also make sure you don't click on this Photoshop sequence. Keep this unchecked, because if you check this one, it's gonna import as the Photoshop sequence, which you don't want. This is very important. There are scenarios where you have to use this, but like 95% of the time, you won't be able to need it. Just make sure it's unchecked. Click on OK. And now it's asking me again, import kind, composition, retain layer sizes, which is good. And then editable layer styles, which is good. Click on OK. And as you can see here on the left-hand side in the project panel, I have a main composition, which was created at first. And then I've got a folder and also another composition called Storyboard 2 Frame 1. And if I double click on this Frame 1 composition and double click on this Frame 1 composition again, it's got all the layers from Photoshop file. As you can see, there's a Photoshop icon in the front. Everything is separated so that later on we can animate it. Now what I need to do is to organize the project panel a little bit. So I need a new folder here. I need a asset folder, and then I need to create, after I have the assets folder, I need to create another folder. I just want to click on this empty space here and then click on this create a new folder icon again, make it a pre-comps. I need another folder called output. So that's about everything that we need. You can also, like if you have music in your video, you can create a folder called music, or probably music and VO, voiceover and music. And now we just need to organize it. So the main composition is the composition we will be working in. We need to put this main composition into output folder so that this is our output in the end. After we finish everything, we're gonna render this main composition as the final video. And then pre-comps are anything other than main comp that's also a composition, like this, anything with the same icon. This is a composition icon. We have the storyboard 2 frame 1 composition. We need to drop it inside the pre-comp, and then the folder contains all the files from Photoshop. So the file folder itself, we need to put it into the assets. And in order to make it easier to look at, I want to put like 00 before the output folder so that the output folder is always on top of the list. And every time I go to the project panel, I know this is the main composition, this is the final output, it's always on top. And based on your need, you can add more folders, but like normally for a small project, this is the folder that we need. It's pretty easy to organize a small project. If you have like a 30-second or like 1 minute video, it might be different. There's going to be a lot of revisions and you might have a lot of different folders. But right now for us, we can just keep it simple. Just create these 4 folders, drop everything into its respective folder, main composition into outputs, and then this folder into a assets. And the storyboard 2 frame 1 composition into pre-comps. That's it. If we go back to the main composition, this is our main working space. Now what I need to do is just do the same thing, repeat the same steps that I did before to import all the other frames. I can go to this project panel here and then double click on the project panel. Another way you can import is if you go to File, and then you can go to Import File. You see this File, Import File? This is where you can import your Photoshop file. Click on the second frame and make sure we have Composition Retain Layer Sizes selected. Don't click on this Photoshop sequence, and then OK. Composition retain layer sizes, editable layer styles, okay. Now we've got another frame here, storyboard 2 frame 2. Drop it inside pre-comps folder, and then this new folder, drop it inside the assets so that everything is organized. And now let's go to the project panel again, double click on the empty space. It's the same as File, Import File. It's just easier to double click on the empty space here to pull up the window, importing window. And let's go to frame 3, make sure it's composition, retain layer sizes. Don't click on Photoshop sequence. Okay, okay. And then we've got another comps and then another folder. We got 3 more to go. Let's go to the frame 4. Make sure you click composition, retain layer sizes, click on open, click on OK, and then drop this one into pre-comps, drop this one into assets. And then 2 more, go to frame 5, make sure to choose composition, retain layer sizes, click on open, OK, put it into pre-comps, and then put this one into assets. And then last one, frame 6, composition, retain layer sizes, click on open, click on OK, put it inside pre-comps, and then put this one inside the assets folder. And then just make sure you save the files. I haven't saved it yet, so I just need to Command Shift save, make sure I have it saved as, navigate to our folder. So this one, I can name it Travel Collage Animation, and then click on save. I just put it inside this animation folder. and then save. Now you can see if we go to the project panel, we got 4 folders. If I close all these folders, we got 4 folders. One is output, which has our main composition. Right now it's empty, it's our working space. And then we have assets folder with all the folders from Photoshop. It's got all of the individual layers that we need. And then we have a music and VO folder, which later on we can put on music and voiceover. And then we have a pre-comps, which was imported from Photoshop as well, but these are already compositions, all 6 frames. If I open one of them, you can see it's already got everything in position as a separated layer. It's very easy for us to animate. Alright, that's it about this video. That's how we set up After Effects file for animation. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to start animating the first scene.